It's Professor Michael Clarke. We're going to break down what we know so far, Michael, aren't we? So what are the immediate elements of this possible deal?
Yeah, Matt, I mean, the immediate stuff is the numbers, and this is what they could agree on. So, I mean, first of all, what are the numbers of the hostages? How many hostages are going to be released in some sort of phased way? So we think the number is about 33 out of the 60 that we think are probably still alive. So what's the phasing of that? 33 all at once, or 3 and 5 and 10 and so on?
Yeah.
That's the first number. The second number is how many Palestinian prisoners will be released from Israeli jails, and that's probably going to be in the low hundreds, 200, 300. It'll be multiples of the hostage number. And then the third number is the phasing of the withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. They won't all come out at once, but in what proportions will they come out? And particularly, will they come out of the Philadelphia corridor? You know, every other deal is broken down on this, amongst other issues.
Yeah.
Philadelphia corridor, the Israelis insist they have to occupy that to prevent smuggling and the reconstruction of Hamas by getting stuff in from Egypt. And the Hamas say, no, you've got to get out of Gaza altogether. The Israelis say, well, maybe they've given in on that one, maybe. We don't know yet, but that will be a key issue. Will they leave the Philadelphia corridor? So those are the immediate numbers. And then there's one other number that's really important, which is 500. 500 trucks a day need to go into Gaza in order to feed and supply 2.3 million people who are rattling around in a destroyed territory in which they're locked in. And they haven't had 500 trucks a day since the beginning of this crisis. So that's the other number. Will this ceasefire deal, this 42 days, allow for a big surge in aid, at least to get something approaching 500 trucks a day in to relieve the suffering of the population?
Michael, with Gaza, much of it decimated, like you say, what are the longer-term aims for this deal then?
That's where it gets more difficult. The obvious thing is, OK, reconstruction. Yeah. It's not just a question of aid. You've got to reconstruct the place in some way. Now, that usually falls to the money of the Gulf states. The rich Gulf states have done that in the past, and so has the European Union. But they will not. The Gulf states will not go along with that now unless there's some sort of political plan, because they say every time we reconstruct Gaza, there's another crisis and you bomb the places that we've reconstructed. So we won't do it unless there's a political plan. Political plan for Gaza means a plan for the Palestinians of Gaza, which means some plan for the Palestinians in general, which means you've got to decide some fundamental things about, well, how big is Israel going to be? Is it going to continue with the settlements push, in the illegal settlements in the occupied territory?
Yes.
And that is what I call the political Death Star. This is where every issue chases every other issue around and the gravity increases, nothing comes out of it. So we're in that situation where to talk about reconstruction means talking about the fundamental political issues which have been generations in the making. Maybe they can, because the Middle East is a tipping point. So many other things have changed in Syria, over Iran, over the arrangements around Israel, maybe. And with President Trump becoming president, President-elect Trump becoming president, by this time next week, maybe he will see an opportunity to offer some big framework, maybe.
Yes, maybe. Lots of ifs, lots of maybes right now. Michael, thank you very much indeed.